Inspire, motivate, challenge.
Welcome to Healthcare Soldiers. So I just like to start by asking you to tell us about yourself. You know, your professional background, your work experience. You know, your career highlights from when you started from university till now. Can you just give us a breakdown so far?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mayowa. It's quite a time we haven't seen in a while, but we've been communicating on the phone. You know, my name is Egbuonye, Obina for full. I am a pharmacist. I'm based here in Lagos, practiced in Lagos, and I've been around in Lagos. I finished from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Shortly after that, I proceeded for my internship, compulsory one-year internship. That was at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Anambra State. And then after that, I went for my youth service, Federal Medical Center, Azari in Bauchi State. That was, long before the Boko Haram. Then after that, I think my first job, and immediately after my service, landed me in GSK, where I started as a sales rep. I was in GSK for about 4 years, in the pharma section of the company. I handled a number of products from Seretide, respiratory, asthma drug, to Augmentin and the likes. Then from GSK, I moved to the oil and gas. A lot of people did that at the time. I moved to the oil and gas. I was there for a while. While in the oil and gas, I was also consulting for an HMO. So I also did consultation, trying to set up the business development of this particular HMO. I was there. From there, I left the oil and gas and moved fully into the HMO. From the HMO, I veered off, decided to go into my own personality, and today I'm here, doing what I feel I like most now, which is Nearexpiry. I'm currently here as the MDC of Nearexpiry Limited. That's what we've been doing for the past 2 years. When I left the HMO. Yeah.
All right, fantastic, thank you. So, near expiry deals, I'm familiar with it, obviously. It's a mobile app, but I would like you to explain, what near expiry deals is all about. Can you give us some insights?
Okay, so near expiry deals, or near expiry limited, because what you know is the app.
Yeah.
The name of the app is Near Expiry Deals.
Okay.
But actually the company is Nearexpiry Limited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Nearexpiry Limited is actually, we call it an offline, online sales company. However, we're particularly interested in the end of life of a product. So we're talking about management of end of shelf life of a product, the sale. And that's where we differ from so many other sales company. We are not interested in those things that are still not a worry to the owner. We are interested in those items that are now a worry because their expiry date or best before date or use by date are getting close. So that's what Nearexpiry Limited is focused on. However, in order to deliver this vision, we needed a vehicle like a mobile app. Of course, we're in the age of technology, so anything you can do to scale up, whatever service must go through technology. So we talk about a mobile app, and that's what we call Nearexpiry deals. And what Nearexpiry deals does is simply to connect buyers and sellers on items that are close to expiry. Now, don't forget that while you're trying to sell, somebody else is trying to buy. So we provide a hub where sellers and buyers meet, but particularly for products that are close to expiry. That's what we do.
All right, thank you, Obina. So I'd just like to ask a follow-up question.
Okay.
In your estimation, I know that it might not be the might not be available accurate statistics, but in your estimation, what percentage of sales or revenue businesses like the ones you focus on, what percentages of their revenue do you think they lose to expired products or medicines?
Okay, well, like you said, I may not be able to give you the exact statistics, but let me paint this scenario so you get it right. We had a presentation sometime last year to one of the biggest retail pharmacies, and I presented personally, and in the course of the presentation, the MD was there. So by the time I mentioned expiry, he stood up and said, Obi, you know what, there's no point. You know, the bigger you are, the more that expires on you. So it struck me that really, and then he told me something. He said, just about last year, the year before, they lost about 19 million naira worth of drugs to expiry. So, and I've also interacted with one of the foremost distribution companies. You know, these days most pharmacies, they run through distribution companies. One of the big ones told me that what they transferred to NAFDAC for destruction was in excess of 1 billion
every year.
That particular year, in excess of 1 billion. And I mean, because they distribute for so many companies, including the GSK I mentioned, including the Pfizer. I don't want to mention names, but truly they gave me that insight too. So, and then same thing applies to non-pharmaceuticals like the supermarkets, the grocery outlets. They have quite a lot that you know, they throw away because the dates have passed. You know.
So basically, you are solving two problems. You are helping businesses minimize their loss of revenue from expired products, and you are also providing access to people who necessarily would not be able to afford those products in their original prices. Good.
So we call it, we are also involved in not really poverty but hunger alleviation, because the truth is that last year WHO, we had it that 7 out of 10 people in Nigeria go to bed without food. Now the striking thing is that even in the same country, everywhere is littered with things, and people are throwing away things just because the dates are closed. Whereas there are people who do not have access to these things, and of course the painful things are the things they are throwing away are also still good. So while we are trying to help the sellers minimize their loss, we're also helping the general populace, you know, people who cannot ordinarily afford this, get access to it, you know, and at very discounted price. That's very key. And of course the same quality.
Yeah, fantastic. So what happened? Like, what inspired you to start this in the first place?
Okay, yeah, my inspiration, first of all, every inspiration that is, I mean, good comes from God. However, as humans, what inspired me was the fact that I used to have a retail pharmacy, you know, and every now and then things expire there. But what do? You know, we are a very praying country. I always say people pray a lot. You have X4 that is about to expire. The only thing you do is that you keep praying that the next person that walks into this pharmacy should be not just a hypertensive patient, but should be a hypertensive patient that has come in with the prescription for X4. And then you also pray that it's the same strength of the X4 that you are looking to sell. So there are a lot of, you know, factors that you need to ask God so that you deliver this. so we keep doing that, and that's on one side. But the real thing that really motivated me was my movement. There was a trip we made to the UK, and it was for a school reunion. So we needed to, I was staying with my, you know, people. So we needed to do like a reunion, and then we needed to buy things, meat, drinks, and the rest of them, you know. So we had visited this particular superstore, wanted to buy meat. As we walked in there, I was there with a classmate that lived in the UK. So he quickly started moving towards the back of the mall. And I looked at the, you know, the arrangement, and I said, okay, this is meat section. So I was moving towards the meat section, and then he signaled to me, Obi, come down. So I followed him. Then we got to that, and I saw meat, you know, and we bought the meat. So we bought, I think it was about £5.99, and then while we were going to pay, he said, okay, let's go to that place you wanted to go, the section, the stale meat section. So I went there, and I saw the same size of meat for almost £15.99. So that was about £10. So yeah, and I started asking, so what's the I mean, in the same shop, in the same store, you have this different price, same thing. So he said the one we bought was best before 3 days. And the one that I'm looking at £15.99 is best before 2 weeks.
Okay.
Not really. I don't like to use the word fresh. Yeah, just date. And I said, well, and our party, by the way, was the next day. So why would I buy best before 2 weeks when we are doing the party the next day? So it's, yeah, and then also as youths, we use that one to buy additional drinks. You know, the difference. So when I came back to Nigeria, and it dawned on me that things keep expiring. So a particular one was this X4 that expired, and I just took it from the shelf, put it in my pharmacist office, not for any reason, just kept it there. And then one day, I think 3 days later, a colleague, a pharmacist, came visiting, and we were in my office. So he looked around, I saw the X4, and I said, what's this one doing here? I just said, oh boy, this is gone. He said, he just tapped me, but I have a patient that is on this. And I said, but you didn't tell me. So we're like, you know, like a blame game. How will he tell me anyway? So I was like, you didn't tell me. And he said, you didn't ask me. And I just told myself, this is the problem. A lot of pharmacists are existing in silos. A senior colleague called it silos mentality. And what it means is that pharmacists are in this kind of box where everybody feels, why should the next person know? The next pharmacist know that I have this that is about to expire. So what normally happens is that you keep it to yourself, pray, do everything you need to do, and eventually it expires. So that we need to open up that silos and say, look, Obi, today you have X4 that is about to expire. What stops you from going to the WhatsApp and put up your X4? This X4 used to be 10,000 because it's expiring in 2 months' time and giving it out for 4,000.
Yeah.
And then people buy it because the truth is that once it expires, it's 100% loss. So WhatsApp would have been the ideal replacement for the mobile app, but the truth is that WhatsApp can only take limited number of people.
Yeah.
So we thought of something that will give us scaling, and we thought of the mobile app where millions can actually download the app, you know, and benefit from that. So that's really the short story, you know, that motivated me to say, okay, this is a real problem. This is a real problem that needs to be solved.
Yeah, so just a follow-up on that, you mentioned something about pharmacists operating in silos. What do you think is the root of that? Is it a status thing? Is it just, you know, people are just private? What do you think is the root?
Okay, for I mean, you just took it up my mind, because the truth is that I've not been able to pinch a hold on the cause or the reason, except for the fact that I think it's a status thing. Because you're there thinking that, why should this guy know that, I mean, this is what I buy and this is how I throw it away? You know, but again, that's why you see a lot of pharmacies still go down, and before you know it, you know, the pharmacies, the business will go down. Because the truth is, even if you do 100%, I mean, even if you sell this product at cost price, it's still better than if it expires. The truth is that, well, I don't think a pharmacist with all our training will go to or train the date. So you're going to throw it away. You're going to take it for destruction. So I think it's a status thing, really. I don't think of any other reason why someone, just the same way people die every day because they have a particular ailment, they refuse to tell people. They die in silence. They keep, you know, you see someone that has cancer and he knows and he's still hiding it, and then by the time he opens up, you are in stage 4. And I mean, that's it. So why? You don't get some of these things outside this country, but here, that's what you get. You know.
So basically, I mean, it's generally known that we have poor treatment-seeking behavior.
Yeah.
But I think what you also identified is that it's also, we have poor help-seeking behavior as well.
True. Yeah.
Because we don't want to be perceived as, you know, we are struggling or, contravene that status that we are trying to maintain.
That's
So
correct.
yeah, I think that's very, very insightful and something that maybe that's another topic for another day.